Welcome everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 2013 Toyota GT86. Now this has 1,601 horsepower, 1,327 pounds-feet of torque from a 3.4 litre twin turbocharged inline 6 engine. The car itself now weighs 2,547 pounds. It now has off-road tyres, all-wheel drive and off-road suspension, and it can do 0 to 60 in 2.160 seconds, 0 to 104.279 seconds, and going to a top speed of 269 miles an hour. So we've already seen how quick this car is on how fast will it go, but it didn't really like the power that it has, which is the same as this. So yeah, I'm a little bit ambivalent to how it's going to deal with all this power on these off-road conditions, especially since, you know, off-road conditions are typically a far tougher thing to deal with when you got so much power than being on tarmac. But at least we're going to be going at a lot lower in terms of speeds here. But I'm worried that the all-wheel drive system is still going to play havoc with this car's handling. It's necessary to keep the power in check and obviously help with these off-road conditions, but it does also induce a hell of a lot of understeer at times. And yeah, it wasn't particularly helpful even on how fast will it go, even though it would have been infinitely worse with rear-wheel drive. So yeah, I just think this car's got too much power with this engine, but we use these engines for a reason, because it's fun and interesting to see what they can do. But yeah, there's no doubt that this is dealing with far more power than it can really handle in any convincing and consistent way, to be honest. It's already sliding all over the place. Granted, this part of the course is muddy and quite wet, which is not typically all that easy to handle anyway, especially when you've got 1,600 horsepower, but hopefully it will be a little bit better on the gravel section, which is coming up out to this tarmac bit. So let's see what it can do here. Yeah, it feels like it's got a little bit more grip here. Still a little bit awkward. You can see it's still also quite wet. Though wet gravel is typically easier than wet mud to drive along. Just going to have to drift it through any corners, because that's the only way to get it around a corner without understeering. Across the finish line there at a massive 193 miles an hour and a time of 2 minutes 2 seconds .950, which is surprisingly quick when you consider it looked quite messy and yeah, not particularly quick in the first section, but I guess we made it up in the gravel section. And yeah, surprisingly we were the exact same time as the Toyota MR2 GT from 1995, quicker than a Ford GT70, Ferrari 250 LM, Maserati MC12, Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, the GMC Cyclone from the previous episode, BMW Z4 Roadster, Porsche Macan Turbo, Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhook, Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, so faster than some modern SUVs, but also slower than the likes of a Toyota Celica GT4, so we're right around the kind of older Toyotas there, as well as a Maserati Levante S, Alfa Romeo P3, Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, Lamborghini Urus, and a Ferrari Portofino. But yeah, in terms of Toyotas, this is done reasonably well, especially Toyotas that aren't meant to go off-road. So yeah, it's right alongside a pair of 90s cars, and yeah, it's not particularly all that far off a Toyota Hilux Arctic Trucks either, which is less than 0.7 a second quicker than this, but it's way off the likes of the Land Cruiser, which managed just over 2 minutes. So yeah, but nonetheless, despite being as messy as it was, that is undoubtedly a quick time. But it's a bit of a glass cannon, I feel, because I guarantee if you were to go out numerous amounts of times, the average time would be a lot lower than that, because yeah, it is a tricky car to drive fast on this course, especially with all of that horsepower and torque. Might well be quicker with a little bit less in the way of power, but I like to go as much as possible with certain cars just to see what they can do. And this is done reasonably well, despite the fact that obviously it was quite uncontrollable. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.